Power is not earned through kindness, nor through fair play, nor through noble ideals. Power belongs to those who understand human nature at its darkest core and use it without hesitation. Machiavelli observed that the truly successful kings, generals, rulers, business titans did not rise by being moral, but by being strategic, manipulative, and relentless. They use laws that are never written, rules that are never spoken, tactics hidden in plain sight. These are the darkest laws of power. They are not for the weak. They are not for those who wish to be liked. They are for those who wish to rule, those who wish to outsmart everyone else, those who wish to win. If you have the courage to understand them, you will see how power truly works and how genius people bend the world to their will. The first law is to control appearances at all costs. People do not see truth, they see masks. A man may be cruel, but if he appears merciful, he will be praised. A ruler may be corrupt, but if he wraps himself in religion, the masses will call him holy. A leader may lie, but if his lies soothe, the crowd will believe him more than the man who tells painful truths. The genius manipulates appearances because perception is stronger than reality. To the masses, he wears the mask of virtue. In private, he is ruthless. To show your true self is to hand your enemies a weapon. To project an image is to disarm them before they even act. The second law is to weaponize weakness. Every person has an insecurity, a fear, a hidden desire, a secret ambition. Genius people do not fight against these things. They exploit them. They flatter the proud, frighten the timid, tempt the greedy, and manipulate the ambitious. They know that reason changes very few minds, but fear and desire move everyone. The wise ruler does not waste time trying to elevate men to virtue. He uses their vices to control them. A courtier who desires gold is bribed. A soldier who fears disgrace is disciplined through shame. A rival who craves recognition is drowned in false praise until he grows careless. Weakness in the hands of the genius becomes a chain that binds. The third law is to remain unpredictable. Predictability is weakness. Once others can anticipate your actions, they can prepare against you, resist you, even destroy you. The genius makes unpredictability his shield. He shifts suddenly, alternating between mercy and cruelty, silence and speech, generosity and punishment. This inconsistency keeps rivals unbalanced and allies uncertain. It breeds fear because no one knows what will come next. Even great rulers of history, emperors and generals, cultivated mystery. They knew that when no one can predict you, everyone fears you, and that fear is power. The fourth law is to conceal true intentions. The masses love openness, but openness is a weapon against yourself. Genius people understand that the less others know, the more power you have. Plans are never revealed. Only distractions, promises are made, but with double meanings. Words hide more than they reveal. A clever leader may talk of peace while preparing for war. A cunning rival may offer friendship while plotting betrayal. The naive expose their goals too soon, only to be blocked and destroyed. The powerful speak little, show less, and act suddenly. Their enemies realize too late that they never knew their true plan. The fifth law is to make others dependent on you. Power is not just the ability to command. It is the ability to make others incapable of surviving without you. Genius people design their relationships so that allies, followers, even rivals cannot live without their support. Wealth, protection, or approval. They give just enough to build gratitude, but never enough to allow independence. A courtier who owes his fortune to the king will never betray him. A soldier who cannot rise without his commander will fight to the death for him. Dependence is the leash of loyalty. The more people rely on you, the more secure your throne becomes. The sixth law is to strike fear before love. Machiavelli asked the question, is it better to be loved or feared? He answered, both if possible, but if one must be chosen, fear is safer. Love is fragile, fading with distance or betrayal. Fear endures. Fear binds tighter than affection. A ruler who relies on love will be betrayed when temptation appears. A ruler who relies on fear will remain secure, because men hesitate when consequences are dire. Genius leaders use fear not recklessly but surgically. One act of decisive punishment can inspire obedience for years. A reputation for severity prevents challenges before they even arise. The seventh law is to master silence. Most men destroy themselves with their own words. They speak to impress, to persuade, to defend, but in speaking, they reveal their thoughts, their weaknesses, their limits. The genius listens. He allows silence to press upon others until they reveal themselves. He gathers intelligence while appearing passive. His words, when finally spoken, carry weight because they are rare and deliberate. Silence denies rivals the chance to twist your meaning. It forces others to fill the void with their own secrets. Power grows not in constant speech, but in strategic silence. The eighth law is to use selective honesty as a weapon. People expect lies from rulers and rivals, but when truth appears, rare, disarming, and carefully chosen, it becomes more powerful than deception. The genius sometimes reveals a small truth to hide a larger scheme. He confesses a minor fault to conceal a greater plan. He gives a genuine gift to bind loyalty, only to later demand far greater returns. Honesty, used sparingly, becomes a tool of manipulation. The naive think truth is always virtue. The powerful know truth in the right place is the most dangerous lie. The ninth law is to crush enemies completely. Mercy appears noble, but it breeds revenge. A defeated enemy left alive becomes a hidden flame, waiting for the chance to rise. Genius leaders know that when it is time to destroy, destruction must be total. Not only the rival himself, but his allies, his influence, his base of power must be dismantled. A partial victory is a seed of future defeat. History is littered with leaders who showed mercy, only to be destroyed by those they spared. Ruthlessness secures peace. Hesitation ensures war. The 10th law is to control information. Knowledge is the currency of power. Those who control what others know control how others think. Genius rulers master propaganda, censorship, and narrative. They spread stories that glorify themselves and erase truths that weaken them. They flood the public with distractions to hide their real moves. They encourage myths and legend that make them appear destined for greatness. The crowd believes what they are told most often, not what is true. By controlling the flow of information, the powerful control reality itself. The 11th law is to avoid attachment. Loyalty is fleeting. Friendship is conditional. Love is unreliable. Genius people do not tie themselves emotionally to anyone. They treat every relationship as temporary. Every alliance is useful only while it serves power. When someone ceases to be useful, they are discarded without hesitation. This detachment makes the powerful cold, but it makes them secure. Enemies cannot tempt them with love. Allies cannot trap them with guilt. Rivals cannot cripple them with betrayal. Attachment is weakness. Detachment is freedom. The 12th law is to manipulate time. The foolish waste time, rushing when they should wait, waiting when they should act. The genius bends time to his advantage. He knows that patience allows tension to build in rivals until they break. He waits for the perfect moment to strike, then acts with blinding speed. He lets others tire themselves in premature battles while he conserves his strength. To control time is to control outcomes. The man who acts too early loses. The man who acts too late loses. The man who acts at the exact moment wins without struggle. The 13th law is to project inevitability. Men follow strength, but they worship destiny. If you make your success appear certain, others will join you, not resist you. Even when weak, act confident. Even when uncertain, project assurance. Spread rumors of your victory until rivals believe resistance is hopeless. Genius leaders know that half of victory is won before the first battle begins. The illusion of inevitability paralyzes opposition. Once others believe you cannot be stopped, you already cannot be. The 14th law is to divide and rule. Unity is the greatest threat to power. When rivals unite, they become dangerous. The genius prevents unity by sowing division. He spreads suspicion between allies, stirs jealousy among rivals, and fractures groups into factions. While they fight each other, he grows stronger. This strategy works in families, organizations, even nations. A divided enemy cannot resist. A divided people are easier to govern. The wise ruler knows that strength comes not from uniting all under him, but from ensuring no one else can unite against him. The 15th and final law is to never outshine the master until you are ready to replace him. Those in power are jealous. If you display brilliance too soon, they will see you as a threat and crush you. Genius people learn to conceal their talents beneath humility. They praise those above them, make themselves appear useful but not dangerous. They rise slowly, building power in secret, until the moment comes to reveal their full strength. Then, when their master is vulnerable, they take his place. The reckless are destroyed for shining too soon. The patient ascend because they knew when to reveal their light. These are the darkest laws of power, and they are not kind, not moral, not fair. They are the strategies genius people use to outsmart everyone, to rise above, to rule while others stumble blindly. Those who deny them live in weakness. Those who understand them live in strength. To embrace them is to embrace reality, to accept that the world is not governed by morality, but by manipulation, by control, by cunning. And those who master these laws hold an unfair advantage over everyone else. To understand the darkest laws of power, you must first accept that human beings are not guided by reason, fairness, or morality. They are driven by desire, fear, envy, pride, and weakness. Genius people, those who rise above the herd, recognize these truths and use them to their advantage. Machiavelli never sugar-coated this reality. He warned rulers that clinging to goodness for its own sake invites ruin. Instead, one must learn how to appear virtuous while secretly mastering the darker arts of control. The second set of these laws digs deeper into manipulation, strategy, and psychological warfare. They are not for the timid. They are for those who wish to be feared, respected, and untouchable. Each one requires discipline, subtlety, and a ruthless clarity of vision. Let us continue the descent into Machiavelli's darkest wisdom. Law 6. Control emotion, manipulate perception. People believe what they feel, not what is true. A genius never wastes time arguing with facts. Instead, they shape the emotional atmosphere, feeding the audience what they want to feel: hope, fear, pride, outrage. By controlling emotions, you control perception. Once perception is in your grip, reality bends with it. Machiavelli knew that rulers are judged by appearances, not by their inner truth. Your job is not to be good, it is to look good, while quietly serving your own ends. Law 7. Make others dependent on you. Freedom makes people bold. Dependence makes them loyal. The powerful genius ensures that allies, followers, and even rivals rely on them for resources, protection, or recognition. Cut off every avenue of independence until your influence becomes indispensable. Then betrayal becomes unthinkable, because without you, they collapse. Dependence is the silent chain that binds men tighter than fear. Law 8. Use division to rule. Unity among the masses is dangerous. If they are united, they will see you as their common obstacle. Divide them, stir rivalries, encourage factions. Let them compete for your favor. When people fight among themselves, they are too distracted to challenge you. The Romans mastered this law, and Machiavelli admired their cunning. Keep enemies fragmented, and power will always rest in your hands. Law 9. Exploit vanity and pride. Every human being is enslaved by their own self-image. Genius manipulators know this and stroke egos with precision. A compliment here, a subtle flattery there. Suddenly, people open their secrets, lower their guard, and offer their loyalty. By feeding pride, you blind them to your true intentions. They will think they are using you, when in truth, you are using them. Law 10. Control the narrative, control history. Words are weapons sharper than steel. If you can shape the story people believe, you control their past, present, and future. A genius does not allow events to define them. They define the events. Never let enemies write your reputation. Rewrite their attacks as lies. Frame your weaknesses as strengths, and flood the world with your version of the truth. Machiavelli insisted that reputation is more important than reality. Guard it as your shield and wield it as your sword. Law 11. Conceal intentions, reveal illusions. The moment people see your plan, they can resist it. Therefore, hide your true intentions behind misdirection, half-truths, and illusions. Say less than necessary. Reveal only fragments, and let others project their own desires onto you. By concealing your real motives, You move unseen, while others waste energy trying to guess. Deception is not a crime in power, it is survival. Law 12. Isolate the strong, empower the weak. Powerful rivals are dangerous when they stand firm. The genius isolates them, stripping away their allies and resources until they are vulnerable. At the same time, the weak are empowered just enough to feel useful, never enough to challenge you. This balancing act keeps you at the center of gravity, ensuring that neither the strong nor the weak can exist without your guiding hand. Law 13. Appear merciful, act ruthless. Mercy is a mask, not a virtue. Displaying kindness when it costs you nothing enhances your image. But when betrayal, rebellion, or weakness threaten your rule, you must strike swiftly and ruthlessly. A single act of decisive cruelty is more merciful than 1,000 half measures that prolong chaos. Machiavelli taught that fear is more reliable than love, and to be both feared and loved, you must disguise ruthlessness with the illusion of compassion. Law 14. Create enemies, then destroy them. Enemies are necessary. They give the masses a villain to hate, a reason to unite behind you. A genius knows how to cultivate enemies carefully, provoking just enough hostility to appear threatened, then crushing them publicly as an example. Each victory strengthens your aura of invincibility. Without enemies, people grow complacent. With them, you remain the center of every struggle. Law 15. Never outshine the shadow of power. Every throne exists in the shadow of a higher force, fortune, fate, the divine, or the people themselves. Genius rulers respect that shadow and never appear greater than it. Instead, they position themselves as its chosen instrument, the one destined to rule. By aligning themselves with something larger than life, they deflect envy and channel reverence. Machiavelli understood that power is never just about force. It is also about myth. These laws are not abstract theories. They are weapons forged from the study of human nature, sharpened by centuries of political struggle. To master them is to step outside the realm of morality and into the cold domain of strategy. They require courage to wield, for once you embrace them, you cannot return to innocence. You must play the game as it is, or be consumed by those who already do. Genius people who live by these laws rise not because they are lucky or good, but because they understand the truth. Life is war, and war demands strategy. Machiavelli's shadow still lingers because his wisdom speaks not only to princes of old, but to anyone today who seeks power in a world still ruled by envy, fear, and ambition. Power has never belonged to the moral, the gentle, or the naive. It has always been seized, guarded, and expanded by those willing to step into the shadows, to see the world as it truly is, and to play the game others refuse to acknowledge. The 15 darkest laws of power are not a philosophy for everyone. They are a code for the few who dare to rise above the herd. Those who reject them will continue to believe in fairness, in luck, in kindness, in chance. They will be swallowed by betrayal, consumed by envy, crushed by rivals, and forgotten by history. But those who accept these laws will begin to notice patterns everywhere, hidden threads of manipulation, control, and dominance woven into every relationship, every negotiation, every battle of wills. The genius who studies these laws does not just understand power, he becomes power. Machiavelli's genius lay in stripping away illusions. He refused to see the world as it should be, and instead dissected it as it is, brutal, competitive, and merciless. He knew that morality is flexible, that loyalty is fragile, that appearances are stronger than reality, and that fear lasts longer than love. The great mistake of ordinary men is to cling to ideals while their rivals sharpen daggers. The genius understands that ideals are costumes, and power belongs to those who design the stage. Consider how these laws converge. Conceal your intentions and shape perception, and no one sees your strike until it is too late. Make others dependent on you. Divide your rivals, and you will never face united opposition. Exploit vanity, control narratives, and you will not only command obedience, you will command belief. Appear merciful, act ruthless, and you will balance fear and admiration in a single breath. Create enemies to destroy, and your power will always have fuel to burn. Align yourself with the shadow of a higher force, and your rule will be cloaked in inevitability. Each law builds upon the others. Alone they are weapons, together they are an arsenal. Genius people do not pick and choose, they wield them all, adapting as circumstances demand. Sometimes the knife must be hidden, sometimes brandished, sometimes division must be stoked, sometimes unity must be performed, sometimes silence is power, sometimes proclamation is necessary. The secret is flexibility, the willingness to discard one mask for another without hesitation, without guilt, without shame. The path of these laws is not without cost. To embrace them fully is to accept isolation. Few can understand the weight of power, and fewer still can be trusted within its circle. The genius who follows Machiavelli's wisdom may walk among many, but he belongs to none. His loyalty is to strategy, his faith is in calculation, his devotion is to victory. While others bind themselves with emotion, he moves freely, feeling nothing, controlling everything. But make no mistake, these laws are not merely destructive. They are creative forces. They shape empires. They forge leaders. They carve the future. Without them, civilization collapses into chaos, and chaos devours the weak. The ruthless clarity of genius people keeps order alive, even if that order is built on fear, illusion, and manipulation. History does not remember the kind, it remembers the cunning. You must ask yourself, do you want to be remembered as one who hoped, or one who ruled? Do you want to leave your fate in the hands of others, or seize it with your own? These laws are not comfortable, but comfort is for the conquered. They are not moral, but morality is for the powerless. They are not easy, but ease is for those who never mattered. If you want to matter, if you want to dominate, if you want to rise where others fall, you must master them. The 15 darkest laws of power are not theories. They are tools. They are the cold truth hidden behind every throne, every fortune, every dynasty. Genius people do not ask if they should use them. They accept that they must. And once you begin to wield them, you will see that the world was never about fairness or luck. It was always about who was willing to outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast everyone else. So study these laws, sharpen them, live them, because while the weak dream of a world that should be, the powerful bend the world into what will be. And when history is written, it is not the dreamers who leave their mark. It is the ones who understood, who mastered, and who conquered. Machiavelli's shadow whispers through the centuries, reminding us of the only truth that matters. Those who dare to embrace the darkest laws of power will forever outsmart, outlast, and outshine everyone else.